I'll start things off. Hey, Chance, my name is Lane. I'm a sports reporter for the Wall Street Journal, and I wanted to kind of get a sense of just your impressions of how social media is being used right now. It seems like it's a little bit different in terms of how this generation and your peers in college are approaching, I guess, speaking out. And I'd be curious to know your thoughts on kind of what you're seeing and what your teammates and yourself have been posting.
I feel like social media is a big thing and a great platform for us as athletes to use and to send our ideas and to share them. Like with the time we have now, with the ongoing situation with George Floyd and the incident that happened, being with social media, being able just to show it to not just us as a Black community, but also other people, and just to see the things that we see on everyday life, but now it's shared. So now it's, I would say social media is a huge platform for us as athletes just to get the voice out and just for people to know that it's just time for a change. So I would say social media is a big thing, and I'm trying to use it the right way.
Do you think that it should be athletes' responsibility to use their fame and platform to, speak about societal issues like this? And I mean, I guess, should they not be sticking to sports?
I feel like the rhetoric of sticking to sport is kind of old. I mean, because sports is what we do. Was a hobby that turned into a job, and on my side of it was other things that we had going on in our lives. Once we leave practice or facilities, we have to go back to our peers, and so it should be our job to step up and speak for the community, because we have people, for instance, at OU Stadium, we have 86,000 that come every Saturday to come watch us play. So just to that platform and the amount of people that just watch us, not in person and on TV and through social media, we should use it to be the voice for the community that's been silenced.
Hey, Chance, Scooter Man Pro from 997 KMJJ. Thank you for this opportunity to talk it up with you real quick. When you see the current atmosphere, what's going on in the climate, what's going on in America, what prompted you to say, hey, I need to say something. I need to use my platform in a bigger way to be able to talk to my fellow brothers and sisters?
Man, with the climate going today, when I'm just looking at Twitter and just also TV and just looking at just the outrage and the anger and also sorrow that I just seen from people, and I was like, man, I feel like every year it's another shooting, another outcry of just a family that just lost a brother, a father, or a mother, or just a prominent figure in the community that's gone, a voice that's no longer be heard. And I'm saying, like, it's always reoccurring. And I was thinking to myself, man, what's something that I could do to make a change, just for it won't be just a reoccurring incident. Like I wrote in my paper, I feel like this, my mother is facing some injustice, my grandmother and past generations. I feel like we're not at the time anymore of where we just walk the streets and protest. Martin Luther King did that for us. He put us in this position where we now have a voice. We can actually make changes. And so I was thinking to myself, what's ways I can use my platform to bring about a change. And so I was thinking, once the protest ends, everybody is angry and filled with emotions. But once they go away, what's the next step? And I was thinking, so once the protest ends, what will be a foundation for a newer change? And so that's how I got this idea of this police reform, and just putting out there just to meet with people and just to bring about a change in a time where people is angry, but let's be angry at the right reasons, and angry at something that can bring about a change for later generations.
And speaking, one more question. Speaking about your mother, you mentioned your mother. I know your mother here in Shreveport. She's
Yes,
a
sir.
phenomenal woman and one of the best principals that we have in Caddo Parish. I also read in your article or in your tweet or whatever you call it,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
I read that you've already graduated, man. So what can you say to the young people that are looking up to you and looking at you right now? What can you say to them about education?
I would say education, feel what I have now, being able just to learn the system, to learn how our people can be empowered. Without this education, I wouldn't know. Like the rhetoric that knowledge is power.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I'm like, that's just old people talking. But actually, once you get older, you realize like knowledge is really powerful, because you understand how you can bring about a change and how you can grow. So just talking to the younger generations and the people that's looking up to me at this point, knowledge is powerful, and if you want to bring about a change, you have to educate yourself on what's weakening you as an individual and as a community, and what can strengthen you. And so that would be my answer back for the community is looking up to me.
Thank you, Chance.
No problem.
Hey, Chance. Tim with Channel 6 here in Shreveport. I know you graduated 2.5 years with political science degree, and obviously you're studying criminal justice now, so this all makes sense. But how did you come up with some of these ideas for police reform?
Okay, so the ideas I came up with police reform. So I was just sitting down thinking like, and talking to other members of my fraternity, and also just other members in the community and on my team. Just issues that we was dealing with in police. So I was thinking, man, like it's always a reoccurring thing of the people that's been subjected to kill one of our own. They always had a certain aspect of this misconduct before that. And my always question is like, how can you nip in the bud before it's actually a problem? And so that's how I brought about those 4 points. And I'll bring them up and just and talk about them each one individually. So with one right here. So with the first point, I said a lifetime nationwide ban from policing when terminated for misconduct. And so what that came about is because, for instance, of Tamir Rice, the killing of Tamir Rice in 2014. In 2014, 2-year-old Tamir Rice, the same officer that killed that individual, was rehired in a small town of Ohio Village 4 years later. And so just instances like that. So like once you just terminate for misconduct, it's a lifetime ban. It's not just within your city or state, but over the whole United States. You should be terminated and no longer allowed to be an individual to protect and serve, because you're not serving or protecting a community. And so the next one I talked about was all civilian complaints against officers must be subjected to a public disclosure. And so, for instance, with George Floyd, the police officer that murdered him for those 8 minutes and 46 seconds while he gasped for breath, before that incident, prior to the incident, he had 18 misconduct that was filed against him. And so my point being, why does it have to take a murder for us to speak up and say he's a bad police officer? That should be nipped in the bud from the beginning. And then also I feel like as if us as individuals, civilians that when we're arrested or anything of that nature, it's allowed for the public disclosure. But why isn't that same judgment put towards the people that's supposed to be protected and served? And then also it's a system that allows them to be comfortable with misconduct, because they know that the system that they're in will back them up, and they won't see any fault in their consequences. It's almost like with a child. If he doesn't get punished for making a mistake, and continue and repeatedly do the same thing. And so that was my second point. And then my third point being a creation of a national standard for recruiting and the use of force. For obviously, as we can see, I feel like the police department in the state they're in, they're not teaching the people that's out here to protect and serve just the right things. Being that with a lawyer, it takes up to 6 years just to be a lawyer, but with a police officer, it's almost in the span of 6 months. So I feel like those two things are not weighed perfectly. And then another thing was just also just the education of the people that you're protecting. I feel like a lot of them do not know what goes on in the minority community, in the Black community, or just systematic racism and just ways of just how we grow up may be different from how other people from across town they grew up. And so I just feel like those type of educations will allow them to understand the situation that we're in. And then fourth, I put independent investigations of all allegations of police misconduct. And so with that being said, that was simple. We all come from different parts of our community. And so say, for instance, a police officer in a community kills not just a Black man, but anybody in that community. It should be an independent investigation put into for just that instance. So, because what I mean by that is people in the community, they normally look out for those. So what I say by that is I knew Johnny since he was 2. I saw his son grow up. I know his mother, who was from the same street. So they do the best way they can to find ways to mitigate the actual situation and try to make it seem less than what it is. But if you just bring those outside forces in to take their time and actually look at it, they won't look at it from the time of I know Johnny since 3. They'll look at the time from this is a law, this is right and wrong, and what you did was wrong or what you did was right. And so that's what my 4 points was. And I had other ideas, but that was the 4 points I seen could be easy and be put in place to make a change.
And your dad spent 22 years in the military, and the training is ongoing at all times in the military.
Yes.
Maybe that's something we need to do with the police department. Maybe that's something you could bring up.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I want to go back a little bit to something you said earlier, in that it's really important for change to last longer than just when the feelings of anger maybe go down or go away. And, what are some tangible ways that you can, in the next few months and maybe even during the season, once there is a brighter spotlight on you, continue to push for this effort to, have change and make a difference?
So with this reform, and the reason why I put it out, I call it just an op-ed. The reason why I put it out is because I was looking for a coalition of a team that can actually just look at it and just and give me ideas and insights and put it in the hands of people that have the ability to make a change. Like city officials, lawmakers, lawyers, mayors, senator, governors, things of that nature, to actually put these on ballots and to be voted on and to make change. So my steps that I was looking at, just reaching out to the individuals just at city levels and just starting from there and just being able to talk about it and put it to ballots where it can be voted on. So that's my steps I was looking for that I was trying to push.
Have any of your teammates discussed, trying to do something more visible, like in the line of what Colin Kaepernick did, or just kind of taking it to I guess when you have more than just your Twitter followers seeing you, but, when you're on TV or anything like that?
Oh, yes, me and my teammates have talked about that. But that was that's a group effort thing that we want to do as together. We're still working out the things that we want to put out, and I'll just wait for us to, as a unified, it's better to, when the voice is said, to be unified. So I don't want to speak on just that instance without us all just being together and being ready to put out a statement of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does anyone have any more questions for Chance?
Yeah, I got a couple more. Chance, it's Tim again with Channel 6 in Shreveport. And I was talking with Coach Bachman this week, your high school coach, and your name came up. We talked about several different things about what you put out and all this stuff. And he talked about how tough you were. You're the toughest kid he's ever coached, and what kind of a leader you were on the team. How important is it for you to use those leadership skills that you've picked up through the game of football and life as a 22-year-old black man to help lead this community in the right direction?
I feel like football is a good way of the game of life itself. Like the rhetoric of, you might be knocked down 8 times, but get up 9. Just understanding that and just being out, okay, maybe my reform, when I first put it out, maybe it might not get the attention it needs. Maybe the people I want to talk to might not hear me. But I know I just to keep pushing and just keep putting my best foot forward. So just a game of football and just the different things from my different coaches I had through my experience has allowed me just to explore my mind and understand life. For instance, I take a quote from Coach Grinch all the time. E plus R equals O. The event plus response equals the outcome. And so we have the event of what happened, and this is my response. And now I'm trying to change for a better outcome. So just the game of football is the game of life, and I do cherish it, and I use it just to better myself on and off the field.
And see, and you're overcoming adversity in your football life as well, overcoming the injuries and things like that. And I saw you're doing some extra training. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about what you're doing to prepare for the season as well?
Oh, yes, sir. Just staying in shape, not just letting COVID-19 just get in the way of anything. Like I said, that's the event, and my response is just to keep training, find a ways just to get better. So just that's all I've been doing. Just working on my strengths and weaknesses, knowing that I did rupture my Achilles, and getting my right leg more explosive and things of that nature. So that's what I've been doing.
How important is it for you to have a pretty good season this year to maybe show those NFL teams that you can get to that next level, and then which would even make you more in the spotlight for this kind of stuff?
I was talking to my teammate about that, like how once I took on this issue, it makes you look at life as a grander thing. So now you have to act on the things that you speak on, and so putting this out, putting this spotlight on myself, makes me goes that much harder in the weight room and in the film room, and on the field, just to work on my game, just to know. So when the time comes that once the spotlight on me, I can be able to perform, and then also by performing well, allowing others to see the ideas I'm trying to push out myself.
Okay. Any more questions for Chance? Chance, is there anything else you would like to add before we sign off?
My only thing I'd like to add was just the main purpose of this op-ed that I put together was just to call together for just city officials, lawmakers, mayors, senators, things of that nature, just to reach out to me, take a look, and let's work together to bring about a change and just to bring about a better America. So that was the point of it, and that's something I'd like to leave with.
Michael, I do have one more question. Chance, I know that you've gotten together with our mayor here and you've talked with him about some of those issues that we have here in our community. Is that something that we could see in the future? You know, I saw when I tweeted your op-ed, I hashtagged future mayor. Is that something that we could see a political future from you?
Most definitely. Talking with Mayor Adrian Perkins, also in being part of my fraternity, just being able just to sit down and have talks with him. And then also when I put this out, I reached out to him and asked for ideas and things that I could do. And he was open about it. And he just sat down. He told me the things that I needed to do and things that I can change and things that will actually make and push for a change. And so he has been helpful. And these ideas will be brought up pretty soon in the city of Shreveport through him and things of that nature. And then also I could see a future and being in a role to be a change for the community. So that would be a yes to your answer.
Good to see you, kiddo.
Sort of building off that, just one more from me. I'm curious, aside from talking to the mayor of Shreveport, has there been any other officials that you've had conversations with since you tweeted out this op-ed? I know it's only been 2 days, but I'm curious what conversations you got.
I got a lot of responses from individuals via social media, but just DMs or just add me about how they read it and things they liked, things they could add on to it. I really can't remember their names. So it's been a lot of people that's responded to it, but I have had a lot of people responding and giving me their own ideas and their own responses of ways that they can be better and ways that it could be pushed and changed.
Great. Thanks so much for your time today.
More of a statement from me. More of a statement from me. Chance, thank you for your time, and keep being that positive man that our kids can look up to. And you've got our support at the big station for whatever you may need to get your point out and let your voice be amplified, man. Thank you.